2020 is a pretty awesome year, right? I mean, I just love wearing a face mask at my desk and social distancing with friends. But don't you sometimes wish you could go back to like 1990? Well, I sure do. And if you've been wondering how to get a VHS overlay on your films, you'll discover that in this video because I've been fooling around with some great VCR time traveling techniques, and I have VHS overlays for you, as well as the steps to creating a custom VHS effect for your footage. But first, let's go
Back to the Future!
30 years ago, when I'd watch movies at home, they looked like this. Then came the digital era with DVDs, then Blu-rays, and finally 4K streaming. But we seem to have lost something in the mix with everything going to digital and cameras like the Red and Arri Alexa producing perfectly pristine images. That is why I think the nostalgia of VHS is coming back. Now, there are mobile apps that will do this and get the old camcorder look like you see on TikTok and in Instagram stories. But what I'm going to reveal is how you can get this same VHS effect on the desktop, and even further, how to customize it with your own custom text like play, stop, or the date with the same cool pixelated font that VCRs use. I've prepared the VHS overlay files and the VCR font you'll need, and you'll find a download link for those in the description below. Now, we're going to be hopping back and forth between Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro 10 as the steps are quite similar, and this should give you additional ideas on how you can customize the effect. So hop in your DeLorean and let's first start in Premiere. Here I have my edit that I've been working on. I have the files VHS Texture and VHS Glitch already imported, as well as the VCR font installed. If we want to apply the VHS look not to just one clip, but to the entire edit, we must first turn the edit into a nested sequence. Now recharge your DeLorean's flux capacitor. I suggest using plutonium as it's safer than a lightning bolt, and let's head over to Final Cut Pro 10. Here we have this same edit, but instead of nesting, we'll create a compound clip. Now, before adding the texture and glitch overlays, we're going to introduce some distortion to the footage, namely chromatic distortion. In Final Cut, it's pretty straightforward with the prism effect. Just apply it to the compound clip and play around with the amount slider until the distortion looks good. Around 14 looks good to me. Back in Premiere, things are a little bit more complicated. We'll go to Effects, look for Color Balance RGB, and apply the effect to the nested sequence. Now we'll change the blend mode to linear dodge. Then holding Alt and dragging will create two more instances of the nested sequence, one on top of the other. Each copy will contain one RGB channel. So first with red, we'll set red at 100 and leave green and blue at 0. On the second copy, we'll have 100 for green and leave red and blue at 0. And finally for the third, 100 for blue and red and green at 0. Whew, that was a lot of work, but if we now modify the position of each nested sequence, this creates the famous chromatic aberration that is so common in old video footage. Pretty cool, right? You can just play around with the positions as much as your VHS-loving heart can tolerate. Now we'll select the nested sequences and nest them one more time. I know this took more time compared to Final Cut, but on the bright side, this will give you more control over the effect. Next, we'll apply a second type of distortion. I'm sure you've noticed some of the wavy horizontal distortion on old VHS tapes. To create that effect, we'll add the turbulent displace effect to the nested sequence. Change the type of displacement to horizontal, and play around with the amount and size values. I like 10 for the amount, and 30 for size. Next, we need to animate the distortion with the offset control. We'll create a keyframe at the first frame and move the offset point to the top of the image. Then go to the middle of the sequence and move it to the bottom. Then finally, move the playhead to the end and move the offset point back to the top. Jumping to Final Cut, to create this same effect, we'll use the wave effect. I'll set the amount to around 2.6. Then move the playhead to the first frame and create a keyframe for offset. Then go to the last frame and move the offset. Finally, the footage looks a little too crisp and sharp in HD, so we'll add the pixelate effect and change the amount to around 4 or 5. In Premiere, we'll apply the mosaic effect and change the horizontal blocks value to 500 and the vertical blocks to 300. Now let's hit play on both NLEs. Alright, it's beginning to take shape. So that's enough distortion for now. We don't want to break the fabric of the space-time continuum, so let's move on to texture. In Premiere Pro, I'll drag the VHS texture clip to track 4, leaving tracks 2 and 3 for other effects and textures. This texture will help us get the illusion of bigger pixels adding a grid. Plus, it adds more chromatic distortion and small glitches. So let's change its blending mode to overlay. It's up to you for how strong you want the texture to be. In my case, I like how it looks lowering the opacity to around 90%. In Final Cut, I'll add the VHS texture on top, change the blend mode to overlay, and bring the opacity to around 70 or 80%. It's already looking great, but it could use some color grading, right? Speaking of which, we could use the Cinema Grade plugin to add a cool retro color grade, but for our purposes, we'll just stick to the built-in tools, but I'll have a link to Cinema Grade in the description below, and I'll show you some things you can do with it at the end of the video. Now, VHS footage generally has less dynamic range or less detail in the shadows and highlights, so to imitate that effect, we'll add the color curves effect to the compound clip, and on the Luma curve, we'll create an S curve crushing the shadows and highlights a bit. In Premiere Pro, we'll add the Lumetri color effect to our nested sequence and use the RGB curves to create an S curve. Finally, we'll reduce the saturation a little. We're getting close to traveling back to 1990. Let's use the cool VCR font. We'll add the word play to the upper left corner and don't just leave it at pure white, make sure to make it slightly gray. What's really cool about doing this on our own is that we can customize the date. So we'll add the date to the lower left-hand corner. Let's say July 4th, 1990. Now let's add some chromatic aberration to the text. For this, we'll use the VR chromatic aberrations effect. Now normally this is used for 360 footage, but it'll work for our text. Just make sure to move the effect to the top of the stack before the other text effects. We'll change the red aberration to -2, leave green at 0, and blue we'll set to 2. Then we'll add the VR digital glitch effect and change the master amplitude to 2 to get horizontal pixel distortion. Then go to distortion evolution and create a keyframe at the beginning of the clip, go to the end, and move the evolution value way up. How much you add depends on the length of your sequence, so you'll need to test different values until you get to a sweet spot. Then we'll add the mosaic effect, again with horizontal block values of 500, and the vertical blocks set to 300. Finally, let's lower the opacity layer to 60%. In Final Cut, we'll quickly create both texts, change their color and opacity, then copy the attributes of the compound clip and paste the attributes to the text layer. Make sure that all attributes except prism, wave, and pixelate are unchecked and hit paste. Let's render our sequence in Premiere and hit play on both NLEs. As far as the VHS overlay goes, we're on point. It looks great, but we are missing something, and that is a nice analog glitch because this is the way tapes look when you press play. For that, we have the VHS Glitch clip. The clip is 2 seconds long, but we'll just need to select about a half of a second from it and position it above our text and below the VHS texture. We'll do the same thing in both NLEs and set the blend mode to screen. Now, if you just hit play, it doesn't look very good. The glitch is there, but it isn't interacting with our footage. The moment the glitch overlay kicks in our footage should look way more distorted and have some up and down movement. So let's add this. In Premiere Pro, we'll go to the turbulent displace effect in the nested clip, and we'll create some keyframes for the amount property to bring it up at the very moment the glitch begins, and then back down to normal when the glitch ends. Now let's add the up and down movement to really sell this. If we simply move the image up or down, we'll just see a black background behind it, so to avoid that, we can use the offset effect. Let's add the effect to the nested clip and keyframe the offset center value so the moment the glitch kicks in, the image moves up or down and then back to normal when the glitch ends. Back in Final Cut Pro, we'll create keyframes for the wave effect so the distortion goes way up when the glitch kicks in. Final Cut doesn't have an offset effect, so we'll use a little hack. We'll first apply the tile effect to the compound clip and set it to 3. Then go to the transform and set the scale to 300. Now, if I move the position up or down, or even left and right, we'll always see a duplicate of the image. Now I'll add keyframes for the position during the glitch. All right, I think that we might be there. So let's render, hit play, and let the good times roll. Now, a suggestion I make is be careful with this. You don't want to try to oversell this, as that can give you the case of a dad bod if you're male, or the case of mom jeans if you're female. What is so great about doing all this yourself is that you can play around with the different values to make it as strong and distorted of an effect as you want it to be. You can see that in Premiere Pro, it did require a little more work, but it does give you more options in customizing the effect. As always, different NLEs have different pros and cons, so let me know which NLE you're currently using in the comments. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Denver Riddle. We offer color grading tutorials on our channel, so if you like this video, check out the videos on our channel and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. If you're looking for the easiest and fastest way to do color grading, I suggest that you try out CinemaGrade. CinemaGrade is a plugin we've designed for content creators who don't want to specialize in grading, but still want to get the same professional-looking results. You get to do this by bypassing the traditional 20-year-old controls with on-screen color grading, Lightroom-style sliders, false color view for getting the perfect exposure, easy shot-to-shot and camera matching, real-time previews of your LUTs, and support for the X-Rite color checker chart for doing automatic corrections. You'll find a link for CinemaGrade in the description below, and we offer a free 7-day trial. So check these options out for all your grading needs. If we can help you to get the look of your films to stand out and work on bigger projects, we want to see you do that. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I invite you to try out this technique to time travel back to your childhood, or maybe just cue up the never-ending story. I think that's what I'm gonna do.